Monster is a pseudo-fictional web series that is designed and intended to blur the distinction between documentary and narrative drama and fiction and reality, and to actually tell a compelling story in the process of doing that. As a writer at the time, I felt that I needed an outlet to explore or deal with certain issues that I was going through in my own life. And in writing Monster, I was able to incorporate some reality into the storyline. It definitely does include some personal things. At the same time, those issues that I've written about are dramatized, so they're either enhanced or diminished in the process of the storytelling and what I experienced. Actually, I'd rather not say. I didn't create the series to point fingers at anybody in particular. I created the story to work through my own feelings and emotions of things that happened to me personally. What's important is through the process, it's easy to see how things can be manipulated when you're only given one person's perspective, one person's point of view. Beatrix is based on a real person. However, Beatrix is someone that I imagined, that I came up with a long time ago, that kind of encapsulates the ideal soulmate for me, the ideal person that I would spend the rest of my life with. That's the idea of Beatrix. Using that character as a catalyst in telling the story just kind of made sense for me. He loses, his soulmate, the perfect person to him, the person that he envisioned himself with forever. Beatrix is representative of everyone's ideal soulmate. Well, we all have internal struggles within ourselves, and I think that utilizing two different versions of Matt represents that internal struggle intrinsically, as well as visually. You actually get to see it manifested visually, on camera. My ex-wife and I were actually discussing the project online one night, and she really liked what I was doing with it. Now, we split probably a decade ago, and we've lived totally different lives. The direction that she took consisted of learning to focus on her career and learning to become a very strong individual person. Myself, on the other hand, went in a completely opposite way, whereas I looked for relationships that would work. I was constantly looking for a relationship, that way I could make it work. And maybe possibly to fill something that I wasn't able to accomplish with our marriage. But they were two total opposite directions that two people could have gone when splitting. The two versions of Matt that you see on screen are just that. Matt is the road that I took. The other Matt is who I imagined myself becoming had I taken the road that Jennifer had taken when our marriage didn't work. Although it's an extreme version of that person. She actually helped develop the characters just from one brief conversation that we had online one night about the series itself, and she probably doesn't even know that, and so that's kind of cool. But obviously this split of his character is a result of losing Beatrix. losing, you know, his ideal soulmate. Honestly, I don't know. I imagine they probably do. I mean, I'm friends with quite a few of them on Facebook. But as I've said before, it's not about them, any of them. It's about me. It's about my feelings, about my experiences, my versions of what I've gone through. It's one person's point of view, and because of that, and in that sense, it's unreliable. It's an unreliable narrative. There are two sides to every story. And if you aren't given both sides of the story, the narrative is incomplete, the story is incomplete. And that's kind of what this exercise is, this writing exercise is. It's only one part of the story. For me personally, it's probably been the sound design and sound editing. We've shot the entire series on an HD camcorder with on-camera microphones, which is not the ideal way that you want to shoot anything. It makes things kind of difficult as far as getting clean sound without any background noise. If you notice in some of the early episodes, and maybe even like the third one, there's spots where what they call room tone just completely drops out and there's nothing, just background music, and then the room tone just suddenly comes back in. It's clippy in a way, I guess that's a good adjective for it, but it's a difficult process. I've never been really versed in a lot of sound design and sound editing, and it's been a really eye-opening learning process for me as far as that goes. So I would have to say the sound design and the sound editing. I guess I just hope that people can relate to the material. I mean, if I can get one person to maybe look at how they handle, a breakup or a situation, a difficult situation, kind of step outside themselves, or maybe look inside themselves in a different way, then I think I'm doing my job correctly. We tend not to want to look at who we are as individuals. We kind of always turn ourselves outward and see what's in front of us instead of seeing what's inside us. And I hope that Monster helps people to do that, to look inside themselves, to really look inside themselves and see how maybe they would react in a certain situation if certain circumstances were different. I wish people, I hope people, I wish, because, I do. I really wish people would, look inside themselves more. We have one final episode. The series finale shoots at the beginning of next week. It's going to be a rather cathartic, I think, experience for me as far as writing the rest of the episode out and shooting it and putting it out to an audience. And I hope that as audience members, people watching, it's as cathartic for them, as viewers. We have actually submitted Monster to a few web series festivals. I think 2 in LA and maybe 1 in New York. So we'll see what comes of that, if anything. But it's gonna, stay alive. It'll live on the internet. If people want to go and watch it, they can, or revisit it. They can do that. As far as what's up next for me, I'm currently stepping up the process of talking about our feature, because I'm directing a feature film right here in Western Pennsylvania that's coming up called Potential Inertia. It's a script I wrote a long time ago, and it's kind of gone through some changes, but that's kind of what's up for me, and we're talking about it. I'm actually going to go and speak on the radio about it here and day after tomorrow for a few hours, and we're still fundraising for that, but we're kind of stepping our game up. One thing that I do want to tell everybody about is the fact that Monster is not going to be the last web series that we're going to do. I think what we're going to try and attempt to do is every fall, every autumn, we're going to try to create a new web series that kind of changes or pushes expectations of what a web series should be. And I think we've started to kind of go in that direction with our first. And so we'll just kind of see where it goes from there.